the CMAC efforts to organize the courses from logistical and thematical points of view?
Thank you very much for your question, and I am very delighted to participate in this important interview. Let me first would like to express my special thanks to the people and government of Japan, especially to JICA management at Tokyo, as well as the team in Colombia, as well as in Phnom Penh, for the kind contribution and support the South-South cooperation, especially the coordination between CMAC and Colombia under the framework of South-South cooperation. In response to your question related to the effort of CMAC in terms of logistic and thematic support to this into this course, I can say that we take good note on at least 3 important points. The first one, I strongly believe that this coordination or this support is much more practical and achievable based on good relationship and cooperation between the people and the government of Cambodia and the government of Colombia. I strongly believe that because of both governments have very clear insight in terms of South-South cooperation, in terms of advantages of our cooperation, as well as promote our relationship of both countries. This is kind of open door for our program to be more practical and achievable. The second point, I can say that the most important, reliable support we receive from JICA team, both in Tokyo as well as in countries like Colombia and Cambodia. They take every effort to support arrangement, logistic arrangement, as well as development of course alignment to the requirement of Cambodia as well as Colombia need. I think this is very important, that the contribution from JICA team. And the third point, I strongly believe that is very useful as well, that now is open to the world. I mean, both Cambodia and Colombia, we have a strong working relationship, not just in the field in Cambodia, but also our officer working in other country also have to promote this kind of cooperation. But in terms of logistic support, I mean that in terms of transportation from Colombia to Cambodia, of course, we have a long distance from each other, over 18,000 kilometers from each other. However, I think this kind of transportation now reliable through the air transportation, as well as arrival in Cambodia now in terms of infrastructure available in Cambodia, also more reliable, that can support transport our people, as well as Colombia trainees from Phnom Penh to the field. That normally easy to make arrangement now, have so many available hotel, as well as accommodation and so on. I mean, it's available that we can make that kind of arrangement. The other important thing that CMAC got through so much experience for around 30 years of development, our capacity development. Therefore, the thematic system that we developed to meet the requirement of Colombia, I can say that those lesson learned or experience that we have commonly used in other countries around the world as affected by landmine use, so especially by civilian war like Colombia and Cambodia. So we share a very common goal on that in terms of lesson learned and experience. So in conclusion, I can say that logistic and thematic support to the relationship between Colombia and Cambodia much more practical as and achievable. I mean, as long as we have a strong support from both government as well as our development partner like JICA have play a very active role in this South-South cooperation effort. Yep.
How has CMAC's experience been contributive to non-affected countries?
This is a very important question. Basically, CMAC, one of second oldest humanitarian mine action organization in the world after Afghanistan. Afghanistan was established in 1989, and CMAC was established in June 1992. So one of the oldest mine action operator, as a national mine action operator, we have wide range of experience, especially from the policy level, go down to field strategic level, which we can experience during the mining and fighting. That means half peace, half war period, as well as have a complete period of peace, demining. Through our experience working very close to the community as well. The community here that we're talking about, refugee living along the border of Cambodia, Thailand, resettlement of refugee returned to Cambodia after peace agreement in 1991. So those experience how to coordinate with hundred thousands of refugee return, got through the minefields and resettlement in the areas affected, in the mine affected areas. That we call emergency period. And then we go to casualty reduction and development period, where all the refugee resettlement already complete, but they're living in the poverty and affected landmine areas. Therefore, CMAC has extensive experience to have to reduce casualty, as well as to have to provide their socio-economic development. Very basic need like access to water, access to food security, and so on. Along with that, as a history of war in Cambodia more than 30 years, Cambodia affected by so many weapons, munition around the world, and the nature of regular forces that fight during the war share very common practice for many civilian war in other countries around the world. Cambodia affected by landmine, one of the major issue that we have been dealing for more than 30 years now. At the same time, we also affected by cluster submunition, which around 30 million cluster submunition were used in Cambodia and affected Cambodia. At the same time, we also experienced so much with bombardments in Cambodia that almost half of Cambodia affected by bombardment by the U.S. For more than 10 years, as well as remaining UXO in the country. So Cambodia affected by landmine, by cluster munition, by bomb, UXO, as well as by chemical bombs. Dealing with this issue, CMAC gained a lot of experience, and especially with the community developments affected by landmine and UXO. And through this experience and ownership, strong ownership, CMAC have built very strong ownership of the problem, and the government of Cambodia strongly supports CMAC initiative, strategies, vision, mission in order to address landmine affected communities. Through that, experience, CMAC can share the experience with other countries. At the same time, CMAC got through a long vision since the beginning. We want to improve our efficiency and cost effectiveness. I mean, we want to release impact areas as soon as possible by using different means of technologies, methodologies, as well as train people. Through this effort, CMAC have developed a number of technology with a number of universities around the world. For example, the mining machines in Cambodia that almost all of them supported by the government of Japan. And these mining machines have deployed in many countries around the world through experience in Cambodia. When we research and test, verify the suitability of the system in the minefield in Cambodia, when it was passed the test and verification in Cambodia, then it practical in other countries as well. So this is one of the logic experience that experience in CMAC also can share with others as well through the technology development.
How do you think about South-South cooperation between CMAC and Colombia?
Thank you. This is a very short question with a long answer. I can say that I can value this cooperation is one of the long-term investment, not just what we achieved in the past 10 years or so, but for the future collaboration. And through our effort of collaboration, it's not just in the field of mine action, but also strengthen the relationship people to people and government of Colombia and Cambodia. I can say that we share very similar problem. Of course, we have different nature in terms of the management of the problem, in terms of the condition of the problem between Cambodia and Colombia. However, we share the same philosophy that we want to live in peace and we want to stop war. And after stopping war, we want to rebuild the social economic for the people that are affected by the remnant of war. This is a very common philosophy that we have, and I can say that I really highly appreciate the people and government of Colombia, especially the government of Colombia, that they continue to commit to share this experience as well as willing to learn from others affected country. Frankly, we cannot see many country leadership to have this kind of continuity of cooperation for many years. Colombia even got through a number of elections, but its leadership continued to deliver the same services or very similar services to their own people. This is very important. And I can say that the main challenge is languages. We speak different language. Of course, we got through the interpretation. If we can share the same language, we will perfect leadership, the relationship, because of our relationship is very close. We not just work as the partner, almost like a friend. We share very common understanding with a mutual understanding and share very common national interests together.
What would you like to add more?
I strongly believe that it's still a long way to go in terms of dealing with the remnant of war. We can say that the language that we can share, I mean the common understanding of the problem, we can speed up the effort of landmine and use of clearance to support the community affected by landmine or use in those countries. That include Colombia or in Cambodia and other the South-South cooperation country. Therefore, I always value South-South cooperation, one of the most important systems, shortcut, I can say that, no need to reinvest from the beginning of the program. We can share the common understand of nature of the problem, manage the problem. I mean, we can share the knowledge, we can share the explosive knowledge that we have. I mean, like document, training document, SOP, how we can work on the field, they can readjust to the reality on the ground. So through this effort, we can continue to work together on South-South cooperation, especially. This is what I want to add.